Hey guys, sorry for being a few minutes late. Couldn't find a cable. Welcome back to Wednesday's live on the YouTube channel. As always, you can ask anything you want. And I see you guys have already started. So let me check. Svein was been asking stuff. Okay, if you made it with an hour to spare, I will develop a roll of Acros 100. I have a question. If stop bath is that dangerous, how is that water will do the same job without being dangerous? I mean, basically what the water does, it stops the developing. It just stops developing and makes it safe for the next step. So basically, I think it's something due to the pH with water in the developer. Hi guys. Joey said most stop bath is basically vinegar, water diluted the developer on the film paper and stops it from developing. But yeah, stop bath. You can use water. I don't use water. I just buy the product just because if it's there, I mean, I guess it's there for a reason. But I know a lot of people use water. Okay, so I have no news this week. Sorry, guys. I got back from the Intrepid trip on Sunday, like at 12:30 at night. Slept 2 hours, went to work, and haven't had a chance to prepare anything. But yeah, the Intrepid trip went really well. I managed to just right now import all my video on my main computer. It's been like around 100 gigs of video. Is Spain offline? I don't understand what you mean by that. Imported around 100 gigs of video, and yeah, now I'm gonna start editing. There's gonna be, right now there's 3 videos on the trip. There's gonna be the main documentary, which will be the main reason I went for. It's what I basically did the Kickstarter for and such. There's gonna be the Q&A, which is gonna be a bit more, I'd say, relaxed. It's just a conversation between Max and me while he's working. Everything was done while he was working, while they were working, because there's 4 people there at the time, because they're so busy that they didn't really have any time to spare. Even though Max had made time to try to meet my needs, I decided it was best that he kept on working so, you know, he could fulfill the orders. We worked Friday, Saturday, and he worked Sunday. I never made it on Sunday to see him. I passed by too early and he wasn't there. And there's gonna be that, the Q&A, the main video, and then like a travel kind of vlog of me going there, the trip, a little tour of the factory they have right now, which they just settled in. And I wanna make maybe 2 more videos about the subject, one reviewing a 4x5 that I didn't bring over, but I hope to get. And one reviewing my feelings, kind of like my opinion on the camera, not so much on the review maybe, but like just a different separate one about the brand and the legacy and the stuff they're doing, because I think it's important. So Leighton says, tell me guys, oh, I guess it's online. Leighton says, developer is alkaline, fixer is acidic. Stop bath both finishes developing exactly on time and prevents you from killing your fixer. I have heard that it helps you endure, like make your fixer last longer. So that's why I also use it. You can use also acetic acid. I think it's at 2% or 3% for your stop bath, and you can buy it very cheaply in stores like Maco Direct and stuff like that. Leighton says, water dilutes developer so it stops the development, although not as quickly. It doesn't stop alkaline contaminating fixer. So yeah, I guess water works. It just kind of goes like you say, it goes slowly. You put water in, there's still developer in there, but if the acid goes in there, it just stops it straight away. I use the Jovo for my black and white, and it does it automatically exactly at the time. So every roll is exactly consistently developed the same way, which I appreciate. Well, the studio is done finally. I'm gonna go do the last little bit on Saturday, and probably will try to record a little tour of the studio on Saturday, show you guys what it looks like, and start working in it. So I'm pretty excited about that. Apart from that, got in the mail a 90 millimeters XL, which is an extremely big coverage 90 for large format, 4x5 and 5x7, and I will be testing that soon. But that's more on the large format talks, which I might try it on a Intrepid if it fits, because it doesn't fit my Chamonix unless I unscrew the back. Lathan says, I use stop bath for normal development, but water for stand development. Sorry, didn't mean to hijack question. Lathan, you can answer. This is actually very interesting. When I see you guys in the live chat answering each other, it helps me too. Then in Brighton on Saturday, I did a film and beer, which is these meetings that I do just for the fun of it, of having a drink and talking photography. And we even had a visit from Martin from New Mexico, which was a big surprise. He's joined us here on the live stream sometimes. He's commented a few times on videos and Instagram and such, which was a very pleasant surprise. He was there visiting for some other reason, but he managed to join us. And we had a good time, had some drinks, and on Sunday went for a walk to Brighton, and I bumped into him and his wife, so that was very nice. If you check my Instagram, you'll see, I think I posted a picture of him, I think a selfie of us on a Noblex, and a few shots around. But yeah, Lathan, thank you. It feels good to have the studio finished, but it's one of those finished, not finished, you know what I mean? I've done the darkroom part. Now I have to start, settling the outside of the studio, because it's the darkroom that I wanted to finish as fast as my partners want to use it to print, and I want to print the rewards and all that. But yeah, it'll be done slowly but surely. Every week I'll try to do a little something so it's not too stressful. I ended up shooting large format on the Intrepid trip. I decided to try to keep the photo series consistent with what I'm documenting. So for example, when I went to Intrepid, I took 4x5 and 8x10 film holders. You actually can see here, these are the two 8x10 film holders, which I put some tape because I went with a friend and one of my 4x5s he opened. So I taped them so he wouldn't make that mistake again. Actually, even some Intrepid shipping tape that is there. But there's 4 8x10s I shot, and there's, I think, 2 or 3 4x5s. We were extremely busy, way more than I expected. So the rewards will be printed out of those negatives for 4x5 and 8x10. And if I don't like the 4x5s, I'll just upgrade people to the 8x10 or send multiples or something like that. There's 4 8x10 shots. I won't disclose yet what they're about, but they're basically part of the story ongoing with the documentary. And I think, they're a little fun little reward to give. So don't expect like the best art in the world. They were all shot with production models of the 8x10 and the 4x5. So I got to see an 8x10 being built, and it's documented on video that I will share with you guys as soon as possible. How did you get on with the plane and equipment? Layton, that's a huge question. To put it mildly, very bad. My trip went fine. I had no issues, but it was very bad because being very nervous about this documentary and recording, I want to make this the best possible, and I overpacked. I took 3 video cameras, 3 tripods. I took 2 LED lights just in case I needed them. I took so much stuff that it was crazy to take. I had to take 2 checked-in bags and 2 carry-ons. Thank God a friend of mine came and I basically shipped everything with him. But it was bad. Spain's saying something, sorry. I broke my GS645S, the Kiev 6C didn't work from the start. I bought a cheap Yashica mat, didn't work, and now yesterday my Pentagon 6 broke. No more cameras left. That's pretty bad, Spain. Pretty emotional personal crisis. That's sad. I'm sorry, Spain. I'm guessing the GS645, maybe the shutter broke. I used one from a friend on the trip, and he said they end up just breaking. Key F6C and the Pentacon, I'm guessing something would do advanced or something like that also fails. But I'm sorry. But a Chivia Chica mat didn't work. I've had that before, buying a camera going on a trip and not having it work. Sorry to hear. Let us know what happened. Maybe we can help you out in any way. And if you come to Spain, I'll lend you a camera. But yeah, shipping and traveling with my stuff was pretty crazy. But my Pelican case did very well. They didn't really look into it, didn't weigh it. The UK customs or security was easy. Same with Spain. Spain says the GS645S, the winder snapped the screws that hold the crank together. Wow. Lathan says they should all be repairable though. Not sure if where you're based, but I hope there's a repair shop somewhere. Pentacon seems to not close the shutter, just all frames completely black. Well, that's pretty bad. I'm sorry, Spain. Those are a lot of cameras to be broken. Especially when they're broken, I feel it's just the fail of like, you can't even sell them. Like just as repairs, they're not gonna give you anything. And if you fix them, depending on the price of the cameras, they're gonna be more expensive to fix than to buy new or buy again. And then you'll end up with that dilemma. I have a Pentax 672 that's right now broken, and I just don't have the energy to fix it and send it, and then maybe something happens and sell it and then have issues. So I just have it in storage right now. Sven says, so now I'm renting a 500C for a week just to make me feel better. Well, at least you can rent a Hasselblad. Here in Spain, there's, well, maybe in Madrid you can rent, but it's not going to be cheap at least. Max says, I've been shooting 35 for a couple of months now, and I've been thinking of getting my first medium format camera. Any recommendations? But just a sec, Max, I'll get to you. Stuart, which is basically the reason why I started all this traveling. Stuart mentioned it on a live stream, and that triggered the whole photo series. So we can all thank Stuart for that. Plus a lot of more help he's been pushing my way. Stuart, well, one down, many to go. Looking forward to the videos. Timing for the videos. The Q&A should be pretty easy to edit. I mean, it's 30 minutes of us basically talking and asking questions about Intrepid, the future, past, issues with cameras, clients and such. So that I could probably edit by probably mid next week, taking time during the weekend and maybe a few hours here and there. The vlog-ish video will probably take me like another week-ish, maybe 10 days. And then the proper documentary, probably as long as it takes me to think it looks good enough. So I guess editing it could take me around 1 to 2 weeks at least. And then perfecting it, maybe another week. So I'm guessing around mid-December, end of December, I should have all the videos up. I don't know if you guys want to order, a specific order, first the documentary, then the Q&A, then the vlog, or just whatever order is fine with you. I think it makes sense to see the vlog maybe first or after. The Q&A could be first, and then the documentary second. I don't know. Okay, so to the question of Max. What medium format camera to start with? I would say you want to start with something cheap and reliable. As Vane said, none of his four. The RB67, Joey says, don't get it if you're going to shoot it spontaneously. If you like portraits, landscapes, carrying around, tripod head. Max, you got to give us a bit more information, because at the end of the day, recommendations on what you want to shoot depends on what kind of photography you do. I mean, if you're gonna do portraits in a studio, I would say a Mamiya RZ RB67. If you're gonna go out and about in the field, I would say get something a little lighter. If you're a student and you have a low budget, get a 645 so you get more frames out of your film. Also, cameras are cheaper, lenses are cheaper. If you are a crazy lover of street photography, then you want to get maybe a TLR because they're a bit more, you know, easier to use without people noticing. They do have a romantic look, which a lot of people appreciate and don't get angry at when you shoot them. If you want something pretty reliable and quality-wise very good, you can get for a Hasselblad, for example, Mamiya 7, for example. That's a rangefinder. Mamiya 6 rangefinder. I don't know. It depends on your budget. Depends on your style. Depends on many things, but you got to give us more details. Recommendations. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Mamiya, the whole brand. So pretty much every Mamiya medium format camera I think is like not the best, but to me they feel pretty good, and some of them the best. And apart from that, I like the Hasselblads. I like the 500 CM, no CX, CW, and nothing like that. Nothing too modern. I don't take along with TLRs, so I won't say much about them, but the Yashica ones are pretty good for the price, and Mamiya too. Rolleiflexes are always like, oh, hit or miss. I've had 3 misses. To let you know, Spain, and you maybe feel better, I have had 3 Rolleiflexes and they have all failed on me, including a whole trip with back focus around a meter. So that's why I don't shoot Rolleiflex right now. Let's see. Joseph says, I have one, I like it, but it's hard to handle. It's big and heavy. That's about the RB. On a pretty low budget, something preferable, portable. Okay, so I recommend if you got a low budget and you want something portable and quality-wise, I recommend you can also get Bronica 645, the ETRS and the ETRSI. Those are really good cameras. They're usually around 150 to 200 bucks. You can even find them cheaper. The lenses are very good and they can be cheap depending on which ones. You go all the way down to I think a 40 millimeters to like a 200 something. So you have a bunch of them. There's a 75 2.8, which is the main kit one, which is not bad. Doesn't mean that the kit lens is bad. Then in 645, also the Mamiyas are pretty okay and not so cheap, but they're cheap sometimes. I love the 1000 S Mamiya 645 just because it just looks nice and it's all mechanical. Or no, wait, it's all mechanical? No, it does have a battery. But yeah, I like it. The Mamiya glass is pretty nice too. But yeah, low budget. I would say that. If not, a Yashica TLR could be a Yashica Matte 124 or Yashica Matte 124G. But yeah. Let's see. I really miss my Mamiya RZ. I have had many medium format cameras after that camera, and I still had none of them reach the RZ to the knee. But it's heavy and difficult to be quick with. It's my favorite camera too, Svein. Analog Adventure for the others, but it does take a little getting used to. Jacob says hi, Nico. Holger says hi too. Hi guys. Have you noticed a drastic change in sharpness when printing black and white film? Well, black and white with a filter behind the negative versus in front of the negative. My enlarger uses negatives that are inside the color head, so they would be behind the negative, and I don't find any issue with sharpness, but I've never tested the other way around. I don't have a filter little holder, even though now in the darkroom I will have, and maybe I'll test it out. I'll print the same contrast on the front and on the back and see how it comes. But no, I haven't noticed because I haven't tested it out, and my prints filtering behind the lens work well, at least for now. Joseph says, get a 645 if you want to be cheap and portable. Exactly my opinion too. Don't think 645 is not a nice format. It is, but it just looks a lot like 35, and a lot of people don't like it. Max says, don't wait. I mean, sorry. Analog Adventure says, Max, don't wait too long though. I've seen prices go up all over the place. Here in Norway, the RB is the same price now as the RZ 6 months ago. Yeah, prices are never going to go down. I can tell you that. Stuart says, been looking at a flat bed scanner for my 120 film, yet wonder how comparable is it to a DSLR macro lens to capture the image. Any experience suggestions? Stuart, for 120, the flatbed's pretty okay. It does get a little getting used to. If it's only for 120, you might want to get something like a V500, V600. The V800 and V800 Pro are good, but they're not necessary if you're only doing 120. Unless you're using, if I'm not wrong, Stuart, you have a 6x17, but now I might be very wrong right now because I'm starting to mix people around lately. But if you need 6x17, check that it will scan that size. DSLR and macro, I find is a bit more work. I'm really bad at digital stitching and digital capture, so I can't say much about that. But I do have a red production stand now in the studio, and I will be testing it out because one of the partners does have one of those. So that's my experience. But there's a bunch of blogs and stuff that talk about DSLR scanning and such, and people love it. Some people hate it. Some people find it better. Some people find it worse. I scan with a V750 when I have, and I found it okay. Not the best in the world. I wouldn't be printing huge prints out of it, but I know people do get good results out of it. And it doesn't take that much work. I do use the Epson scan or the View scan, and I like them. Leighton says the Mamiya, especially C330, is a beast and reasonable priced. Also interchangeable lens. Yeah, they are good, but it is a little heavy. If you find it, you know, a little bigger and heavier than the Rolleiflex compared, or the Yashica. Joseph says, Stuart, I've scanned 120 with a V500 and camera macro. You definitely get more detail with a DSLR macro, but the scanner looks fine as it's less work on your part. Yeah, that's what I feel, even though I haven't tested it out. Leighton says, Fujifilm 645 ZI, which is the zoom one, is good for 645 format, but a slow lens. Use Delta 3200 pull to 1600 grain is almost non-existent. I found it's not that cheap. The Fujifilm 645 ZI is around 400 to 500 euros. When I've seen it, I've seen a little bit cheaper sometimes, but not normally. And the zoom is pretty fun. I would say it's a great travel camera, but I don't think it's budget friendly as low as the other options out there for a 645. Stuart says 6x17. I remembered it was you, Stuart. But yeah, just check the V500 will scan that size, because I do know the area is smaller and you don't want to be stitching from a scanner, which is even worse. Analog Adventure, the DSLR macro will give you so much better scans, but it's time consuming and you will have to color correct every image. You need good light. I have a light box that messed up color because of LEDs. Yeah, I'm probably going to be terrible at that. TV Photo says, I use a Canon Scan 9000F Mark II. At least for me, it works great for 35 and 120. I've never been able to get good scans of 35 on a flatbed, but I do know people get it, and I don't understand how. It's impossible. How says, hey Nico, I woke up all night in the dark room, almost overslept and missed this. Hal was in the dark room last night for the first time, guys, and there was a fire alarm at his building. I texted him this morning when I was working. How did it go? How did the paper work? Joseph Delgadillo says, camera macro workflow, set up the tripod and camera, get light table out, level camera. I used anti-Newton glass over the negatives, bright images in bring in images into Lightroom, use merge tool to stitch crop. Negative correct in Photoshop, color correct in Lightroom. Yeah, that seems like a lot of work for scanning. I don't like scanning, so that's even worse. Michael says, hi, Nico. I hope you are well. Your trip to Brighton was fun. Any news concerning your trip to Intrepid? Well, I was saying it at the beginning, but I'll repeat it for those that join now. The trip to Intrepid was this last weekend. It went really well. Everything went as expected and probably better. I've been checking the images while I was importing today, and they look good. I just hope I can make sense of it and make it look interesting and engaging. The people in Intrepid are passionate, extremely nice, a young team. They are right now, and they've restructured and will be coming out with new prototypes and things that I will be announcing on the little documentary. But it went really well. And it was, I have to say, I felt extremely lucky that I was there thanks to you guys. I mean, being in another country, flying and doing something that I never thought I would do with the proper support felt pretty amazing. So I have to thank you guys for that. And now it's on me to make something you guys will be proud of, and maybe the next trip will work again. But I'm already planning the next trip, trying to figure out dates, flights, and stuff like that, so I'll let you guys know. But first, I'll try to do all the, how do you say, rewards and the videos. Let's see. Joseph says, white balance your camera to the clear leader of your negative to get the right color balance of your film and LED table. Michael, thanks, Nico. Sorry if I missed your talk earlier, a bit late to the show this evening. No worries. I can talk about my trip to Intrepid all day. I'm so excited about it, and I'm so happy I did it. And it was basically you guys who helped me out. Joseph says, I can't wait to see the Intrepid video when it's done. Someone told me to do a teaser, like a little trailer. I don't know if that'd be better or worse. I feel it would just make people like more eager, and I just want to share it. Hao says, yes, everything works great. First time is just for figuring out how the workflow is going to be. Got a few prints, but nothing is up to the quality though. Long way to go. Yeah, I understand the workflow. I had to change my darkroom mid building it when someone said if you were starting on your left to your right with your darkroom or your right to your left, because I hadn't really thought about it. But I was going to put my print washer on the left, but then I was going to start on the left, which meant I have to drip fixer all over the other chemicals to go to the print washer. So I changed the whole darkroom setup, and now the print washer is on the right. So I start from left and finish on the right. So yeah, it's interesting. I always try to do any new process with, let's say, dummy film or dummy chemistry. So I'll just pour water and fake like I'm doing it, so I know what it takes and the time it takes and what could happen in the dark and such. I did it with a Jobo. My first 2 times developing with a Jobo were water, just in case. And that gave me a lot of experience for my first real film. TV photo, I usually set it to 5000 DPI. There's a few tips and tricks to get 35 scans, but you kind of have to deal most things to 11. I don't know what 11 means. 1:1, I guess. Worse. Yeah, I think making a trailer is worse. Hi, Nico. Are any companies producing large format glass, cynical frequency? If you mean glass as in focusing screen, or you mean glass as in lenses, let me know. If you're saying legacy, I'm guessing it's lenses. Hi, Camo Green. Legacy. So yeah, there's no one making large format lenses except for Cook. I don't know how to say Cook. Cook Optics in the UK. are making 2 lenses. One is a triple lens, which means it has 3 focal lengths. The front element, the back element are both together. And they make a soft focus lens. And they keep, I think they have a pretty big stock of shutters because that's the problem. There's no shutters left. So yeah, I've been meaning to get a Kook lens, but they are not exactly cheap. But they are not that badly priced considering they're new. I have tested one and I actually made a video about it, and I never had the chance to edit and post it. Maybe I'll get back to it and do it. I have so many videos I've never posted. And I probably have like 50 to 60 videos that are recorded and semi-edited and never posted. I need more time. Leighton says, darkroom printing is worse than learning Photoshop. Welcome to prints, though. I love prints. I do love prints too, guys. Camo Green, I just ordered an RH Design Analyzer Pro. That's pretty cool. I have a RZ f-stop timer. But I have heard that ever since they sold the company to secondhand darkroom, the quality hasn't been the same. But they were extremely good. So if the quality's gone down just a bit, I hope that it's still very good. And if not, I'm sure you have time to return or to talk to them if you bought it new. I would be excited too. I also bought that and I got extremely excited when I saw. I had a friend had one and I tested it out before. But it's a pretty useful tool. How says, thank you, Leighton, but the feeling when you make a print with your own hand is amazing. Yeah, that's probably the best part of, I think, the photography. I like shooting. I like traveling and shooting. I like developing. It's pretty fun when you rediscover those negatives, those shots you forgot you took. But when you do have the time and you put it in the chemistry and you see the paper bring out the image and then you turn on the white light and you see it, it's probably my favorite of all. You order it from the new guys. Good. Very good. Let me know how it goes. Another thing I want to ask you guys, now that you're here, there's 25 people watching, which is probably the biggest audience I've had live. I've been thinking of getting some kind of webcam live stream going on in the darkroom and letting you guys be able to connect whenever you want. The idea was to have it set up so you guys can connect anytime. Of course, if there's no one in the darkroom, you're going to just see black. But you guys could connect when I'm in the darkroom. Maybe I can set on Twitter or Instagram and say, hey, I'm going to go to the darkroom, and you guys can join. I think it'd be pretty fun to have it. I probably wouldn't be having this kind of conversation because if not, I won't print a single print. But you guys can see what kind of way I develop or how I print or what I'm up to in the darkroom. When my partners are in there, probably would turn off the cam, as I don't think they want to be part of the online experience. But I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be cool to join in and check it out. So you guys let me know. I'm going to study the possibility. Okay, Leighton says, how? When it's light, you photograph. When it's dark, you print. Nico's so right. I love it. I really love it. I like it a lot. And you, Leighton, are printing all the time and in the darkroom developing, which is something I'm very jealous. I hope to get back on it. Klaus says, bought an Analyzer Pro 5 years ago and I would never sell it. Best tool in the darkroom. Yeah, I don't want to sell it either. The only reason I might change is because I really want to test the Hayland analyzer and timers and hopefully get the LED head for my enlarger. My enlarger uses 4 300 light bulbs, and it's pretty crazy electricity-wise. The lamps are expensive, and they every time they blow up, it's 2 of them at a time, and they're not cheap. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. Maybe one day. BW Vid says, as for darkroom workflow, left to right inspiration, this time lapse is nice for reference. And the entire darkroom is for sale in Virginia on Craigslist. I don't know if I can click on that. Let me see. Oh, there it is. I'll watch it later. BW Vid says the webcam is a cool idea. Yeah, I got to figure it out so I can make it safe and I can share with people that I want them to see and not just have it, I don't know, hacked by someone and lose control of my own webcam. But Nico, if you are in a webcam in the darkroom, you will probably stop the dance breaks. Yeah, someone was asking me today if I would print with no clothes or with clothes, and I said that I usually don't use, but I'll get dressed for you guys. Webcam in the darkroom live stream would be awesome. I'm trying to find out a webcam that will do also, let's see, work with light and work in the dark with infrared. Klaus says, yes, the split grade would be the only thing to replace it with. True. I don't know. I just thought that, I mean, I think no one's ever put a webcam in a darkroom and left it open for people to come in and check. And I think it'd be pretty cool. That would probably help people ask questions for this live stream, maybe solve some questions by seeing what I do. I'm by no means an expert, and I'm sure I'll get a bunch of people telling me I'm doing things wrong, which will probably improve my own, how would you say, workflow. But I think it'd be pretty cool. And maybe if I can get something on the studio base too, when I've got someone shooting or doing, you know, some kind of project or whatever, it'd be cool to share. I just think sharing's pretty fun. The Camel Green, where do you buy the bulbs for your Devere? I buy them in B&H in New York. Last time I bought them, they were around $15-ish a piece, and they were like the gray market ones. The real ones were quite a bit more. B&H, let me see, ELH or ELW, I always forget. Yeah, ELH. Let me see. These are ELH are 10, 12 bucks, depends. Philips are 17. The ACO, the nice ones, are 33. LW. Yeah, it's ELH. Yeah, I buy them in B&H. Camel Green, you can get them there. I have like 8 or 10 spare, but so far I've only broken 2 of them. I never had one blow up, but picked up the remains of one out of the head when I got mine. Yeah, I'm missing the extensions for the focusing and raising and lowering the head. I'm gonna see if I can get those built by someone here in Spain, because the official ones, I don't even know if I can find them. But yeah, any other questions, guys, let me know. I don't think if I can say much more about the trip without showing you guys the videos. I did post a few shots on the Instagram stories. With the Flickr group we have, would you guys want me to post some of the pictures from behind the scenes on the Flickr group? I mean, I know this is a film show, but of course those shots were taken on my phone or similar. But maybe I'll post some on there. I have not been on it lately, but hopefully I'll get back on it. Let me see. Leighton says, can they be 3D printed, or did I misunderstand the question about the light bulbs? I don't think you can 3D print the light bulbs. Camel Green, do you have it wall mounted? I do have the wall mount, and in my previous darkroom that I did the other day, I did have it like that, but I found that it was way too intruding towards me. So basically from the wall to the easel, I needed like probably like 1.2 meters, and it was way too crazy. So I this time left it on tabletop mounted. My Devere is tabletop mount, so I don't have the floor standing model. Two Stone says yes, post to Flickr. Okay, I'll post the pictures from the trip tomorrow on Flickr. Would you worry about bringing certain older cameras out in snow, rain, wind, dust? I mean, I don't know. I don't really worry about taking my cameras out in those conditions. I mean, depends on how bad it is. If it's very, very dusty, maybe. Wind, snow, rain, I don't mind, but dust is probably not the best, or sand. But I do take my Leica to the beach every time I go. Leighton says no controls for the enlarger. 3D printing bulbs will be awesome though. No, the controls for the enlarger are basically, if you ever see a picture, if you Google a picture of the Devere or Devere, it's basically has these long rails that are extensions for the knobs, and they're just metallic. So 3D printing that would mean 3D printing something that's like 800 millimeters and has to withstand torsion. Was the 507 yours, the one that you were selling on eBay? Because I was about to buy it, but I only need the little sticks, so I didn't buy it. Stuart says, I always carry a plastic bag if conditions require the camera to be put away. I do the same, Stuart. Actually, in Miami, when I go to the beach, I take 2 bags. One is the camera inside. I make a knot, and then I turn the bag around, and I put the other bag the other way around and put it in my camera case with no other stuff that can get scratched or sandy. And those are always with me. So I have those 2, they're grocery bags. So I've managed to take it to the beach and play around. And I've gotten sand going in the first bag. But of course, there's a second bag the other way around, so it won't go in. That's what I do. It's the cheap way to keep your cameras safe. Cynical Frequency, have you used the Nikonos cameras? I'd be too scared to bring a Leica to the beach. I do have and used the Nikonos, and I've used it, of course, way more happily at the beach and on the ocean. But when I've taken the Leica, I'm just a careful person. I've never dropped the camera, never dropped my phone. I take care of things, honestly. I do use them, but I don't find, I mean, I do shoot, I grab the Leica, I clean my hands, I grab it, I shoot like maybe a roll of my kids running around, playing in the ocean, whatnot. Then I put it in the plastic bag, in the double plastic bags, put it on the side, and go have fun. Or maybe grab the Nikonos, go under the water. But then if I want to shoot again, I'll do it again. What I don't do is just have it laying around on the towel or something like that. That's something I would never do. But yeah, like Leighton's saying, remember, cameras are to be used. They are not ornaments. My Leicas go to the beach. We're down there last week for a shoot. Yeah, I take everything everywhere. And if I ever did get my Leica full of sand or something like that, I would just send it to get fixed. Because these cameras are mechanical, and unless you really beat the hell out of them, they're gonna work fine with anything. Camel Green says the floor standing mount. Yeah, I should have gotten it. There's a friend that has a 507 that I know he will probably not use ever. So the day he decides to move it on, I'll be there for him. Have you? No, wait. You sold yours around a year ago. Yeah, I got mine. I actually got the train. I bought the Devere train station enlarger. That's like the 10 by 10. And I had an agreement with someone to hand me down their tabletop 5108. So that's why I have that one. But I did buy the train with the rails, working out of focus and all that stuff, which a friend mounted in his garage and uses. If you treat them with kid gloves, you miss shots. I agree. I do agree that you will miss shots. I also have a very basically, if I feel like I can't get a shot because I took the wrong camera, the wrong ISO, the wrong lens, I'm very happy not taking a shot. I don't feel bad that there's no shots. How was it Winogrand that said, when I'm changing film, there's no shots that I'm missing, just because you just enjoy and just do something else meanwhile. Like, I don't shoot night photography because I never carry a tripod at night. I never shoot with a Hasselblad indoors because there's never enough light and I don't have a tripod. I mean, there's certain things I just don't, and I don't mind. That's how it is. If I do take a tripod, I would shoot, but it depends on the subject can stay still. Same with 8x10. Joseph says, I don't know, I can't bring myself to bring a Leica onto the beach. I bring my beater F3 because it always ends up sitting in the sand at some point. Yeah, I never drop my cameras on the sand or leave them on the sand. And not that I have two kids that run around like crazy and throw sand everywhere, but I managed to get away from that. BW Vids recommendations for 8x10 film changing tents bags. BW Vids, I have to say, there's not such a changing bag that I have found that is comfortable to change 8x10. You actually watched my vlog on the Intrepid trip. I recorded how I loaded film on a bad changing bag. It took me 20 minutes to load 4 sheets. I highly, highly recommend that you look into the Harrison or Harrison tents, but the big one. I think it's called the Jumbo. It's extremely expensive, but it's extremely good. So it ends up not being that expensive. I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't have it here. It works great. It works for 8x10. It works for 11x14. You can put a big tank in there and load the tanks. If you take it on a trip, it folds pretty nicely. You can put it in a suitcase. Sturdy. Looks like it's going to build, last forever. Changing bags have never worked. There's a Chinese brand that makes kind of like the same thing, but I have not tested it, and can't tell you. Cynical frequency, agree, Clayton, but I am a bit too excited near the seaside. Damn near dropped my GF 670 in the water a few weeks ago. Yeah, I've never dropped a camera in the water, but that can't feel good. Actually, that reminds me, I have a test to do with a camera I'm going to drop in the water. You guys will get to see it. Latency says, I would probably cry if I did that, but I'm mega careful with them. I just have a few beater Canons I use, but I just love the Leica glass. Yeah, me too. BW Vids found a tent 11x14 from China on eBay. 3S Kang. Yeah, that's the one I've seen from China. I met them at Photokina, and it seems pretty good-ish changing tent. Might as well buy it. It's pretty cheap compared to the Harrison. And if you don't like it, you can always talk to them and see if they can return it or something like that. But I mean, if it's like tight, and I've seen a few people use it, so I guess it should be a good buy. But Harrison is, yeah, I know, 140 versus 515. Yeah, maybe you want to test that 140. I should have gotten that 140. It wasn't around when I bought it. Hal says, difference between normal fixer and rapid fixer. I was giving a bag of Kodak fixer. Fixing for time for paper is quite long, about 2 to 4 minutes. Rapid fixer would have been quicker, right? I fix with a rapid fixer, and mine's like 1 minute and 30 seconds. I mean, between 2 to 1 minute 30. I wouldn't care. Just use the one that you have. And once you finish, get some rapid fixer. I can't tell you what the difference is. I honestly would have to read it up right now. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But I usually give it 2 minutes around, especially just in case. And then I usually turn the light on around 1 minute 30 or so and check it out because I'm too impatient. But you shouldn't be wrong with normal Kodak fixer. It's worse than if it's expired compared to if it's not. So beware of that. But yeah, those 3S Kang Rinpoche changing bag. That's a pretty interesting name. Let me just find it because I remember seeing seeing them on eBay, but I haven't found them last time. Let's see. But the Harrisons are amazing, but not cheap, I have to say. Okay, I Googled that. Doesn't show up. Oh, the world. There's like 600 eBays. Okay, changing film 10. It's 7 to 10. So guys, if you have any questions, remember, it's the time to ask. Yeah, here it is. There's some people are bringing it into Europe. Can't seem to find them in anywhere but the States. Okay, guys, let me see. Hi, Pedro. Nice to see you here. P.S. In a pinch, I was able to load 4x5 holders in the trunk of my rental car. It was nice and light tight, but it got hot in there quick. That's a pretty interesting thing. I wouldn't do that in the car, but yeah, I guess if it works. Leighton says how I would throw it away and buy new rapid fixer. I use Tetanol Superfix Plus at 1+4. RC paper is fixed in 30 seconds and fiber based in 60. I buy 5 liters. That's the one I use, Leighton. It works great. I used to use the Ilford Rapid Fixer, but the Tetanol is exactly the same thing and works great. Jacob says 318 for a jumbo Harrison. Yeah, I remember it being around that much. It's still a lot of money. The other one's half the price approximately. Leighton says long fixing times are just a pain when it comes to washing. I do wash for, I think, close to an hour. So I try to be extra careful. Joseph says, any tips for shooting an SX70? I just bought one yesterday. From what I've shot on I actually have 2 SX70s. One was gifted to me and one was bought by me years ago when Impossible came out with the first pack of film. Recommendations, test it out and check for the time to develop properly before you test or take the exposure seriously, because Impossible film takes a little while to get properly developed. I shoot and keep in my pocket, in my jacket pocket. It's pretty cold now. You live in San Francisco, so it's always cold. You put it in your inside pocket so it keeps warm and develops nicely and in the dark. Shooting wise, it's pretty easy. It's kind of like a rangefinder. It has a split image, and I can't really recommend much about shooting. It's pretty easy. Flash wise, I have one of those flash that works with AA, so it's pretty awesome. I never run out of flash. But not much really. I have one without straps, so I hope you got the one with straps. And if just that's the case, enjoy, and don't be scared to close it. It always feels like you're gonna break it when you close it. Leighton says, I am thinking of buying some sodium sulfite to use as wash aid to help to cut fiber-based wash times. I've always been a little scared of adding chemicals to remove chemicals. A whole hypo clearing agent to remove stuff. It just gives me a little bit of it's like adding chemistry to remove chemistry. Just doesn't seem like the right thing. It probably is right, but I just wash a little more. I do live in an area where water is never an issue, so I don't feel that bad. Plus, I have a print washer, and I usually put them in a pre-wash. And when I have all my prints from the whole day, I put them in the print washer and then start the cycle. One last question from Cynical Frequency before I leave. Any places where I could get a GF 670 service? Japan Camera Hunter was no help. That's interesting because Hogarth, which usually joins us here, has just sent his GF 670 to get fixed to, I think, Japan Camera Hunter. Try Nippon Camera Repair in New York. I think that's how it's called. Nippon Camera Repair, New York. Yeah, like Nikon, but it's Nippon, which I guess is something Japan. It's nipponphotoclinic.com. Let me just copy and paste that. These guys fix like everything that's not fixable, including contacts, cameras, and stuff. But I'm sorry to hear that Japan Camera Hunter couldn't fix it. And yeah, also where you're based is usually easier. But I mean, depends on the local stores, but Australia. Yeah, right. The New York guys, see if you can find something. Also, try Camera Ventures. You can write them, cameraventures.com. Write them an email. Say that Nico sent you. They know me. And tell them that they're doing this repair raffle to find out all the repair stores around the world. Maybe they find something around your country that can repair your camera. You might get lucky. The owner's called Juho, Juho, is extremely generous and nice man. And they're actually in Black Friday or Black Wednesday right now and selling cameras for discounts, which it's a pretty fair store in Europe. But yeah, check them out. I would ask them. I'm sure they'll be happy to try to help you out. If they can't find somewhere to repair themselves, maybe they can send you to a store around the world that can repair. So yeah, that would be what I would recommend. And if not, the New York too. And apart from that, also Precision Camera Repair. It's somewhere in the States. They repaired a Mamiya 650 millimeters that I had that the leaf shutter was jammed. And they were pretty affordable, and the lens got used a ton after by someone, and it worked great. Pedro says, developing more than 1 minute photo paper is bad. Pedro, you always want to develop whatever the chemistry and paper tell you, and always be consistent, because if not, you can't judge your blacks and your grays and your highlights on your print. So if you're going to do 1 minute and 30 seconds, always do that 1 minute and 30 seconds. Don't pull out the print when you think it's ready. Pull out the print when time is done so you can base it and have consistent results. Well, guys, 10 o'clock. Thank you again for everything. So much thank you for the people that supported me and support me here. Always happy to help, and really excited to share my Intrepid video as soon as possible. Good night for the ones that are at night, and have a nice day for those guys. See you.